everybody. Thank you so much for joining us again on this week's version of HeatPressNation's Facebook Live.
That's right. I want to thank everyone so much for tuning in today. We got a great show ahead of you guys. We're going to be going over some of the most frequently asked questions that we receive here at HeatPressNation. But I want to give you guys a little background on both of us. My name is Esteban. I'm in customer support. I'm one of the sales representatives here at HeatPressNation. This is Jared. He's one of our lead technicians. So if you've called in to get some product information, place an order, or get some help with your machinery, chances are you probably talked to one of us. Yeah. And today we got, like I said, we got a great show coming up on Facebook Live.
Yeah, now before we get into that, we do want to let you guys know that we run contests here every week. So if it's your first time tuning in, you have a chance to win every week. So at the end of this broadcast, we're going to be announcing the winners of last week's contest. Now, if you'd like to be entered in our new contest, feel free to like and share this post. In fact, why don't you go ahead and do that right now so we can get as many people in on this broadcast as possible. Go ahead and like and share this post, and next week we're going to be announcing the winners and today we're giving away, what are we giving away, Esteban?
Man, we got a great giveaway today. One of the most recommended supply items that we do carry here at HeatPressNation is going to be our T-padded set. It's a very versatile tool, excellent weapon to have in your arsenal at your workplace. So we're going to be giving away 3 sets of that. So Jared said it's super easy to enter, guys. Like the video, share the video, and you could get entered for a chance to win one of these awesome prizes.
Yeah, and we're going to be, again, recapping throughout the broadcast the giveaway. Now we're giving away 3 sets of T-paddeds, but to 3 different winners. So
That's right.
Sorry, as much as we'd like to give you 3 sets to yourself, it's going to be 3 different winners for our T-paddeds. Everybody each getting their own set.
That's right. And while we're on the subject of Facebook, we want to let you guys know about our Facebook group, HeatPressNation Creators. Great source of information and support, moderated by the experts like Jared, like myself, and heat press users from all across the industry, from novice beginners to seasoned veterans. A great place to get some other input and additional information.
Yeah, and like you said, we are professionals here, us and the rest of our great team here at HeatPressNation. We love to monitor the comments, but you'd be surprised. So many people bring so many different experiences. And truth be told, we haven't pressed everything out. I feel like we've done most things.
Oh, we've done a lot of stuff around here. If you guys saw our awesome quesadilla video a while back, can I heat press that? But as Jared said, there's a lot of stuff that we haven't gone over yet in there, or that we might not have touched on. So definitely worth checking out HeatPressNation Creators Facebook group.
And it's funny update on the quesadilla video. So if you go back a couple weeks. Can I heat press that? We asked, can I heat press a quesadilla? And which I thought was interesting because it actually worked pretty good. It was pretty tasty. So 2 weeks ago, my church youth group had a fundraiser. They were selling quesadillas. And I was like, man, how could we make a lot of quesadillas at a time? And then it just hit me. I'm like, hey, wait a second, we could do this. So we were making gigantic ones. So I had my 1620 Signature Series heat press there. And we were just blasting them 4 at a time. And if you want to know the best way to press quesadillas, 375. 30 seconds each side. They were delicious. And I just thought that was really funny because
rock and roll.
It started off kind of like as a joke here on our Facebook Live sessions. And it turned into something like it actually worked, which I thought was hilarious. And everybody's looking at it like, what are you guys making those with? It was really cool.
No, that's awesome. So if you guys have any awesome projects you've been working on, or any cool presses or transfers you've done, we would love to see what you guys are doing. So please use the hashtag HPN Creators. Use it on your Twitter. Use it on your Instagram. Share it with your Facebook. We'd love to take a look and see what you guys are creating back home.
Yeah, and if it's really cool, we might even repost it on some of our social media sites. Love sharing the great work that everybody does there, using the hashtag HeatPressNation Creators.
That's right. And one more note, if you guys haven't already, our YouTube channel, youtube.com/HeatPressNation. There's content uploaded weekly. We're really trying to make a push to have some awesome information there for you guys, visual live demonstrations. So youtube.com/HeatPressNation, weekly updated content, and you can take a look at all of our past Facebook Live broadcasts in case you missed any of those.
Yeah, if there's something that we've covered that you wanted to reference back to, check it out. You can see these smiling faces anytime you like on the World Wide Web. So with that, we're super excited about today because today we get to do something that we've been wanting to do for a while, and it's a frequently asked questions session, and we're calling it Why and Why Not.
That's right. So, we have the iPad up here, so if you guys do have any questions about any of the, processes we're going through here, please get active, get involved. We'll try and answer as many questions as we can while we're live today, but for anything we don't get to, Jared and I will personally be going into the comments afterwards and addressing those, on a case-by-case basis. So, what are we starting off today with, Jared, on why and why not?
So today we're starting off with something that we actually touched on a couple weeks back, but we're going to be talking about the T-pads, which are pressing pads. So let's go ahead and get this transfer. We're actually going to move it over here to center stage. And so you recognize this hoodie. Well, this is actually a different hoodie. We have two of the same ones. But you recognize this because a couple weeks ago in the silhouette video, we showed you guys how to use the pressing pillow to press, to press the chest logo on here. Well, we're not going to use the pillows today. Some people say, hey, the pillows are kind of expensive, blah, blah, blah. They don't work for every situation, and they're not customizable. So we'll talk a little bit more about that right now. But it's going to be the same principle. So like, let's just say, and then we have our transfer here. So I want to say this one here. We'll use this one. All right, now this hasn't been peeled yet. We're actually going to use this for reference a little bit later.
Right on.
But let's just say we had a transfer and we only want to do like a chest piece right here on the sweater. So you press it over here, and I'm just going to peel one of these for right now. Just for example's sake. You want to do a really small logo, like maybe an initials, maybe you're just monogramming a sweater. So you're going to need something really tiny. You don't want to use the pillow, so what you're going to do is you're going to put the T-pad in. Going to go right under there, and then on your heat press you can just lay this, and so this section right here where the T-pad is under, it's the only part that's going to get heat pressed. So if you have a really something really small, just a monogram logo you want to put on a shirt, you're going to want to use a T-pad for that. Now you might be saying, well, why can't I just throw the whole sweater in there? And the truth is, no, you can't, because we have this thick zipper right here. So now what happens is that a zipper, a button, a collar, just a seam, anything like that, it's a little bit higher, it's thicker than the area next to it, right? So when the heat press comes down on there, it's gonna get blocked by that thicker, by the zipper first. And since vinyl is very, very, very thin, the vinyl might not be getting the contact and the pressure that it needs because there's something thicker right next to it blocking it. And this is why sometimes you'll see vinyl peeling next to collars, vinyl peels next to buttons if it's not pressed properly. So with a T-pad, you're able to press just this particular area, or maybe you're layering and you have another heat transfer somewhere something that you're not able to press twice. You could put the T-pad next to it, and then just press the transfer there, and that'll do it. You don't have to worry about repressing that secondary because you're only pressing the part that's been raised by the T-pad, and it comes in assorted sizes. This right here, this is a lifesaver when it comes to sleeves. So this is really helpful. You put it in there, you're able to heat press onto your sleeve. Don't have to worry about the seams or anything like that. Now, you'd mentioned that you like to custom cut your T-pads?
Yes, if you're ever working on an application like, say, maybe a onesie, or it's just something that the pre-cut sizes may not be a perfect fit for, as Jared mentioned, one of the benefits of the T-pad set over the pressing pillows is that these are customizable. With some scissors, you can go ahead and have your own personalized dimensions to operate with. I wouldn't want to take scissors to my expensive pressing pillows, but for elevating the press area and allowing us to have even contact, even heat every time, the T-pad set is definitely the way to go. Yeah,
it's really cool. I had a customer who's doing like dog shirts, and they're an odd shape, so you can't fit this whole thing in there. But she needed to put something in between because she's doing front and back.
Gotcha.
That's another thing that these are great for. If you're pressing the front and back of a shirt and you don't want to hit the back twice, especially if it's like heat transfer paper or something like that, something you might not want to press twice, you could put your T-pad on the inside of the garment, so that way it protects the underlayer from being pressed twice. You're only pressing one layer at a time, which is really great if you don't have a threadable heat press. And threadable is something that we can get to in a little bit. Let's check our questions, Esteban.
Yes, so we got some questions coming in. As we said, please get involved, get active, guys. We'll try and answer as many of these during the Facebook Live broadcast today as we can. For anything we don't touch on, we'll be going in and answering those after. But we got some questions coming in already. Henry is asking, are you saying the pillows won't work on a zippered sweatshirt?
No, the pillows totally will work on a zippered sweatshirt. In fact, we pressed a sweatshirt like that I want to say 1 or 2 weeks ago, we did a silhouette video. If you want, you can go on our YouTube channel, HeatPressNation.com. I'm sorry, YouTube.com/HeatPressNation. Got that backwards. YouTube.com/HeatPressNation. Check out our Facebook Live where we worked with silhouette. And you'll see we had an identical sweater to this one, but we had pressed a chest logo, a chest piece on there, and we actually did the chest piece at one time because we had a pillow in there. So a pillow totally will work, but it's not always going to be able to be used for all applications. So which is why we love having a set of T-paddeds. Even if you do have a set of pillows, a set of T-paddeds are always going to be great because, like Esteban said, if you need it, you need something that's just perfectly sized. I had a customer who needed to press something right here on a tank top, and so they just custom cut one of their small pieces of the T-pad, and they had the perfect insert for pressing their tank top straps.
Right on, right on. You know, I want to get to one more question before we move on. We got one coming in from Faye. Faye's asking, what are the heat pads made of?
So these heat pads are made of like a silicone rubber, so very similar to a mouse pad, but they are going to be a lot thicker, and they're meant for to be heat pressed. So they're designed to be heat pressed. We've had some customers who thought they could be smart and use a mouse pad, and some have had success, and we've had some people melt the mouse pad, and then it like the dye on there, it stained their shirts. And it ruined a couple of their garments. So, you know, and then they're very affordable. They're $24.95 for a set of 5. You get bigger ones that we don't have here on the table right now, but it's a total set of 5, and they're great. They work great for transfers. I don't want to say I never press without them, but like 80 to 90% of my presses, I'm using a T-pad for one reason or another. I feel like I'm always using mine, so it works out really, really great.
Right on, right on. All right, so you know, went over the T-pad set. As we mentioned before, we have a contest running. If you like and share this post, you'll be entered into winning one of your very own sets of the T-padded. We got 3 winners coming up for this one. We'll be announcing those winners next week, but if you haven't already, get your vote in, get your entry in, like the video, share the video, and you could have a chance to win a very own set of the T-padded. So what are we going into next here, Jared?
Yeah, so next we're actually, let's get this, we can scoot this bad boy over.
Okay, let's take care of this.
And so next thing we're going to get into is we're going to show you guys why another frequently asked question we get is, hey, what's up with the green cat blade or the 60-degree blade, or if you're using a silhouette, what's up with the deep cut blade? And the truth is there is a reason for that. It's not just something to sell you guys out. We're going to bring this show. We're going to kind of put this up front and center.
Yeah, so that's right. As Jared mentioned, you know, those different angled blades are going to be specific for certain applications. The standard degree blade you'll find is typically going to be about a 45-degree angle, and that's going to be more for your normal cutting. I believe we have fine-tuned angle blades as well for more detailed or precise lettering, but for the thicker materials, like if you're working with Caesar brick, for example, you do want to use a different cat blade, something like a 60-degree angle for those thicker materials. We actually got a live sample of a cut we did here. So, Jared, why don't you talk us through our first cut on the right we did with the regular angled blade?
So, our right, your left, we did that with a regular 45-degree blade. And so, okay, here we go. We're actually going to show it to this camera right here. So we did that with a regular 45-degree blade. And this was our best shot. So we pressed this about 5 or 6 attempts. This is actually our best attempt on the one on the right there. And you'll see how the edges are really jagged. It's a really horrible cut to me, we're being totally honest. And we cut that with a regular 45-degree blade on a GCC Expert 224LX. Now, if you want to look at the one on my left, you're right. That cut's going to be a lot more crisp and clean. The reason for that is we used a 60-degree blade, which was designed for cutting thicker materials. Now, Caesar brick, and I'm going to lay this back down here. Now, Caesar brick is a really great thing.
Transfer material.
Transfer material. I went blank there for a second. It's a really great transfer material to work because it's super thick. It adds like a 3D dimension, and honestly, like, it's probably one of the coolest things that you could press. If you're doing like a small, like a chest logo, you want to press something onto a hat. I mean, you love brick. I've seen you have a couple of brick items.
Yes, so we've made some snapback caps, and we actually did a heat transfer using Caesar brick. And, you know, as Jared mentioned, it just gives you another dimension to your design. You know, really a little more outside the box than your traditional heat transfer vinyl, and it's another layer of complexity there for you.
Yeah, and so we wanted to really to prove the point to that. You know, the 60-degree blade, it has its purpose. The deep cut blade with your silhouette cameo, it has its purpose. Again, this was our best shot, and it looks absolutely terrible. We did that 5-6 times. Now, the funny thing about the good transfer, the one that we did with we cut with the 60-degree blade, is that's our first try. We swapped out the blades, we set for the proper pressure, and then we didn't even have to do any test cuts. It came out just like that. So that was really cool. This one is 5 tries, and then this one's only 1 try. And it came out really great. And I love the 60-degree blade, probably because I love brick. And it's not just brick, though. It's if you're cutting something thick like cardstock. I know a lot of people use it for cardstock. A lot of people are cutting out strip flock, like the thick flocky satin materials, and even non-heat transfer materials. If you're watching this and you're cutting, things for like crafting, if you're cutting like balsa wood on your cutter, which I just found out people are doing, which I think is really neat.
Right on.
If you're cutting any of that sort of thing, you're gonna be cutting it with a 60-degree blade. I had a customer. He called. He wanted to return the Caesar brick that he got because it was defective. I'm like, well, it's not cutting right. I'm like, well, what blade are you using? A 45-degree blade. Oh, okay. That makes a whole lot of sense. So yeah, 60-degree blade is going to be what you want to use for the Caesar brick. And then you can get really cool designs like this HPN anchor. I'm probably going to use this on my shirt next week.
Right on.
I really like it.
No, that came out great. You just always want to follow recommended, settings, guidelines, and instructions from the manufacturer. For best results, you will find the brick will call for more of the thicker cut there. We got some more questions coming in.
Oh, cool.
Thank you guys for getting active and staying, here with us, keeping us company. Robin is saying, seem to get an outline from the pad on my garment when I use them. On one garment, it was permanent. Is there anything we can do in that case? Right.
So the likelihood is that garment had polyester in it or some other sort of synthetic material. When you're using the pressing, or I should say, whenever you're pressing a t-shirt or anything polyester or with synthetic materials, the material tends to singe and burn. And so it'll leave an imprint either of the heat press or the pressing pad, depending on what you're using. Unfortunately, there's really not a way around that. If you're using, now not all polyester will singe and burn. What I suggest is try a different manufacturer. Not all manufacturers make their synthetics the same. So whereas we use, this actually is like a 60-40 blend, and we'll show you this in a minute. But we use our shirts from a company called All Style. A lot of you guys are familiar with them. They're from the Gildan family of clothing. It's meant for being customized. So their polyester holds up a lot better when we press it. So we press it, and we don't really have any problems with pressing marks like that. So if your garments are leaving imprint marks, you're probably going to want to switch it up. Or in that case, you could use a pillow, and the rounded edges of the pillow, the softer edges, may eliminate the harshness of the the direct corner that you're getting. Yeah, the hard lines. So maybe try a pillow, or just try switching t-shirt manufacturers.
Right on. Thank you for that, Jared. We got another one coming in here from Joe Saliga. Thank you for joining us today, Joe.
Yeah, thank you.
Joe's saying, wants to know if there's any method to stop the transfer paper from curling when it's on the press. He was told by someone to spray with a light mist.
A mist of what? I don't know if you if you can add it in the comments. What we'll do is, and we press dark transfer paper all the time. We have our black series here. So now this machine, it doesn't have the lower slide out drawer. If you're using a swing away heat press, that's a lot easier because it's not going to curl. The reason why the paper curls is because it's under the heat. It's a heat activated material, so when it's exposed to the heat, even if it's not touching, if it's right under the plate, it's going to curl up. So if you have a swing away heat press, that helps. If you have a signature series with a slide out drawer, that helps. Now if you don't have those heat presses, you can spray it with spray adhesive. So what you're going to want to do is, if you have dark transfer paper, after you peel it, lay it on like a piece of cardboard or something, and just give a gentle mist to the back of spray adhesive. That way, when you place it on your shirt, and then you're going to want to put it on your shirt off to the side. Don't do it over the heat press. Put your shirt on another table, line up your transfer, place it on there. The spray adhesive will keep the transfer in place, and then you can take the whole shirt over and press it on your heat press. That'll make sure that you're lined up properly. It'll prevent the tips from curling, and then you'll get a good, nice, clean press. Another thing that you can do is, if you don't have spray adhesive, but you do have a cover sheet like parchment paper or a pro-grade non-stick, maybe like a Teflon sheet, you can place the transfer on there and then hold it down very quickly, put your cover sheet over it, so that way it doesn't give a chance for the ends to curl up. That's another thing you can do with that to prevent that problem.
Gotcha. You just touching back on what the light mist was. Joe was saying water, but
water.
How would you feel about something like that?
I wouldn't, because if water gets on the front of this, it might cause bleeding of the inks. So I probably wouldn't. I'm not sure who. Hopefully it wasn't anyone here. No. But
me.
you know, I wouldn't really recommend spraying it with water because then the moisture gets on the shirt. It affects the adhesive. It's just really not a great idea. I wouldn't suggest that.
Okay. All right. Right on. Right on. So let's go ahead and keep the ball rolling here. Let's move on to transfers now.
Yes.
There are some of the questions I get, regularly on customer support. Why can't I use this light color, light material transfer paper on my dark garment, and vice versa?
Yeah.
So, what we did is we actually did a side-by-side demonstration sample, so you can see what the difference looks like when you use dark transfer paper on a dark shirt as opposed to light colored transfer paper on the dark shirt. So, for example, here the dark transfer paper has this white background base here, so we can really see the true color values. We print on this not mirrored because it's going to be pressed ink side up with that white background there, so you can really see what those colors are supposed to look like. Conversely, with light colored material transfer paper, it's going to draw on the actual color of the fabric to provide those lighter tones, any sort of white in the graphic. It'll rely on the color of the fabric for that. So as we can see here, the ink, which was pressed face down because it was mirrored for the light colored material transfer paper application, you can see it's been very muddied by the color of the garment.
Yeah, and that's because we see the color kind of seeping through. So you see how we have a white border, and then right here is why the autumn is white. Your printer is actually not printing white, it's the white underneath that's providing the color. So right here, that's why we have our border. It's the color of the shirt, the autumn is the color of the shirt, and so it's really, we're seeing the color of the shirt coming through. And that's why it's, to give you a visual example, this is why we, this is light paper, and I love this paper. This is Nina Jet Pro Soft Stretch, probably my favorite light transfer paper that we have, and it looks absolutely terrible on this dark shirt because it's not what it was meant for.
Yeah, so you always want to, like we said earlier, always recommend following the instructions given by the manufacturer as far as time, temperature, pressure, as well as what sort of material you're going to be pressing onto for the very best results.
Yeah, and you know what's funny about this is I get a lot of questions about sublimation, and I was like, hey, how come I can't sublimate onto dark shirts? And literally, it's the exact same reason. Sublimation is very similar to light transfer paper in the sense that you're printing the ink onto the transfer paper, and then that transfer paper is transferring ink only onto your garment. So whatever color your garment is, that's the underlayer, that's what's coming through. So with sublimation, if the underlayer is white, it's going to look fantastic, it's going to look really good. But if the underlayer is something like colored like this shirt, these are the results you're going to get. Some of you guys watching might say, hey, well, it looks kind of cool. Hey, that's entirely up to you. It may work for your application or not. That's up to you, but for sublimation, it's the exact same reasoning why we don't sublimate onto dark colored shirts. It's because you're going to get results just like this. And I love this. Looking at these two, these are the exact same transfer, by the way. Look how bold and vibrant that is. I think those colors are beautiful. And if you look at this, I guess if you're going for a vintage look, it's it's not so bad. But in truth, this just looks fabulous. This looks amazing. This not so much.
That's right. It brings me to my next question here, Jared. Touching on this white border background,
Mm-hmm.
I do get questions from time to time in customer support. If you're not doing border to border printing, you will still have this white sort of square background image there. Now, let's talk about contour cutting and how that can really minimize the appearance of that background border.
Yeah. So contour cutting is a system that we have. So you're going to use your vinyl cutter, and it's going to cut out the transfer or whatever you want. It's going to cut it out of the background. So we actually have a sample here that we want to show you guys. And so this is it's backwards because we have it on light transfer paper. Now, you should still be contour cutting your light transfer paper. Otherwise, it's going to leave a thin, like a residue on a border. So you're not going to want that. So what we were able to do is, I'm going to peel this up right here. Actually, this is the light. There we go. So we already have it cut out. And you can see, I'm going to put this right here so you guys can see it. And so you can see how perfectly it cut out our design from the background. This is done with contour cutting. It's very important if you want to get rid of that background. You can use your cutting software. Not all cutters have contour cutting, but if you have a GCC Expert 224 LX, you can go ahead and do it. If you have a Silhouette Cameo, you can go ahead and do that as well. There's a couple other cutters that we have available that you can contour cut with this.
That's right. When you are working with transfer paper, especially for the darker colored material fabrics, using contour cutting is definitely going to be the only way to go. I mean, you can minimize the appearance of that background and border image by using a hand cut or scissors, but you will notice any sort of inconsistency because that white border background will be visible in that aspect. So contour cutting, as far as dark transfer papers go, is the way to go as far as minimizing that background white border appearance.
Yeah, now if you wanted to hand cut it, you'd have to get extremely close to it. You can see the absolute precision that we have here, perfectly along the edge. So I don't know how well you did in arts and crafts class, but I mean, if you want to hand cut it, it's just going to take a lot of time. It's going to be very time consuming. We actually tested this off camera, and to hand cut it, it's going to take you anywhere from, and this again is a very basic, simple design. But if you're cutting with precision, you're going to want to be focused. It can take anywhere from 1 to 2 minutes of transfer, or more, depending on, again, how well you did in arts and crafts class. This took like 30 seconds or less. It was just really quick. The cutter, it did its thing, and then we were able to go. So, and of course, you're not going to press this. We would, of course, get rid of this, and then our.
And there we have
We
it.
may as well just go all the way through. Let's peel this off now. Well, you want to go? Do we have any questions?
Let's see here. Want to thank everyone again for joining us. There's still time to enter into this week's contest, so if you haven't already, please like this video, share this video, and you'll be entered into winning one of the 3 T-padded sets we'll be giving away next week. So if you haven't already, please like and share the video. Get yourself entered into the drawing.
Yeah. So and now another question I get about contour cutting is I'll have customers who call me and they're asking, hey, how can I contour cut these letters out of my transfer paper? And I'm like, what? No, I'm just kidding. I don't do that. No, we're really sweet and nice here on the phone, especially. But they ask how they can contour cut lettering, and one of the there's not too many rules. Like I say, do whatever you want. If it works, it works. But one of the big rules we have here is we don't contour cut letters at all. And I'll explain to you why. And I pulled this transfer out a little bit earlier. We already took out the piece. So these are pumpkin spice everything, and there may be a reason. Maybe you want to print it out because gradient. You can't do gradients like you see the color right here. It fades from like the dark orange and it fades out to a gradient. You can't do gradient on you can't even do it on laser paper. You can't really do it on inkjet. Well, I mean, you can, but you can't do it on vinyl. So maybe you want to say, hey, I want the gradient. I'll just contour cut the letters out, and we'll go from there. Well, that's really not a good idea because if you are contour cutting your letters, first of all, it's always a real big drag to peel. I'm not even sure if I'm gonna be able to peel this off. Okay. So it's a drag to peel for one. I'm just going to get one letter off here. There we go.
And when you have all the letters contour cut, you're really going to be losing the original integrity of your design orientation. Having it together there really keeps your the layout of your graphic or transfer. So to have to do this afterwards, it's going to be a little bit of a crapshoot. So seeing how we're going to be able to get the design back into shape.
So now if we pick it up, these letters are going to fall off, and this is part of the problem, is that transfer paper is not sticky like vinyl. So once you peel it off, you have to be extremely careful to place it on your shirt, and then not only place it on your shirt, but get it over. We mentioned the curling problem. Well, if you do this on your heat press, all these are going to curl up, and they're going to be really hard to do. And so if you do this off to the side, even if we sprayed each letter with spray adhesive and then laid it down, you're going to have to go back in there. You're going to have to line it up. Unless you're going for that 3rd grade, arts and crafts class, my mommy thinks it's nice look, then by all means, go ahead, knock yourself out. But really, you can see how just tedious it is. And I'm just doing one word here. And we contour cut these letters out. I'm just doing one word here. And you can just see how tedious it is to peel each letter individually, place it, and then we're going to have to figure out a way to heat press it. So I'm going to stop. I'm already not having fun on this.
One quick question on here that came in, Jared. Wilbert is asking if this is laser print paper.
No, so this is dark. This is actually Parapi Inkjet Dark Premium paper. So the Inkjet Dark Transfer papers, you do have to peel it off. It's a 2-layer paper. You print it. You print the full sheet, and you either contour cut it, or if you're pressing the whole sheet, you just peel off the backing and lay it on there, like how we're laying this down right here.
Gotcha. Well, I think that's probably going to get close to wrapping up here for today here on Facebook Live. It's my favorite part of the broadcast. You ready to give some stuff away?
Yes, let's give some stuff away.
All right, we're going to announce some winners right now. As we mentioned earlier, if you were able to like and share the video from last week's Facebook Live, your name is in this hat. You were entered into the drawing, and we were giving away Nina Jet Pro Soft Stretch today. It's one of our favorite transfer materials to work with here around here at HPN. So we're going to be hooking up 3 lucky winners today. So let's go. I'll get this started.
Right.
Let's
And
go.
one thing we do want to mention is if your name is called as a winner, please contact us. You could direct message us through Facebook, through Instagram, or through Twitter, or you can shoot an email to support@HeatPressNation.com. That way we can get your mailing information and get you your prizes.
That's right. So our first winner today is going to be Mandy Funk. Congratulations,
Yeah.
Mandy. Please get in touch with us so we can go ahead and get you sent out with your grand prize. Would you do the honors next?
Yes, I would love to. And this one just seemed to pop right out. So, James Marzano, get in touch with us. We'd love to get you over a free set, or a free pack, of Nina Inkjet transfer. What are we doing? Jet Pro Soft Stretch, right?
Nina Jet Pro Soft Stretch.
Love that
That's
stuff.
right.
Love that stuff.
Okay, so we got one more pack to give away. Let's pick a lucky one. Who's feeling lucky? I'm feeling lucky. All right, let's go. Bob Urquhart. I think I said that right. Bob Urquhart. Congratulations, Bob.
Yeah, congratulations, Bob. Get in touch with us. We'd love to get you your pack of Nina Jet Pro Soft Stretch ASAP.
All right. Well, that's going to start wrapping up for us today here, guys. Want to give congratulations to all of our winners. There's still a chance to win this week's drawing. We'll be announcing the winners next week. So go ahead and like and share this video. And please check out our Facebook group, Heat Press Nation Creators, moderated by the experts. Great source of information and support online.
Yeah. And again, if there was any questions or comments we weren't able to get to live on the air, we're going to be monitoring the comments afterwards. We're going to go answer those. And if you're watching this video after the fact, maybe you're not watching this live, maybe it's 2 weeks from now and you're watching this, feel free to comment on the video anyways. We are actively monitoring, ready to answer any questions you might have. So we'd love to help you out there. Also, if you have any questions at all, you're welcome to call us in. You can speak with myself or Stefan or any other member of our great team at 800-215-0894. You can also find us on our website, HeatPressNation.com.
That's right. And then again, guys, please, we'd love to see what you guys are doing out there. Show us your beautiful creations. Use our hashtag HPN Creators across all social media, your Twitter, your Instagram, your Facebook, your MySpace. Let us see what's going on out there. And as Jared said, you might get a reshare.
Awesome. Well, that's going to do it for us today. We thank you guys again so much for watching. See you next week.
time.